Hello, it's Tom again. Today we're back to home repair. Sorry it's a little dark, I've got the power turned off to this room currently. So, if you remember, I had a toilet leak up there from the second floor. We did a bunch of demo. In the course of that, I found a bunch of rat holes in the lower section of wall. That was where they ran wires through the wall, I guess for the TV. They did it very poorly. And then there is this hidden junction box right here. So I've disconnected everything inside that junction box. It's a code violation, by the way. The terminations in there were done very poorly. This is scab work all the way around. I'm guessing they put it there by mistake, assuming it was an outlet when it should have been run to here. The wire should have been run to here. I've demoed out the old outlet mostly. Got a new box, new wire. All of that yellow wire or yellow cable, that's called Romex, is brand new. So after disconnecting everything, I wire capped my two possible feeds. It was either this white wire cable or it was this black cable. Put the wire nuts on, and then I turned the breaker back on and tested it. When the tick tester turned red, I knew which wire was hot. Then I turned the breaker back off. Always verify. And I don't have a live source right next to me, but I have checked to make sure the tick tester is working properly on a live source, a known live source. Remember, this video is for informational purposes. It does not make you an electrician, nor does it qualify you to do this work. I'm just letting you know what sort of bad work you should look out for. So here's my guess as to what happened. This wire should have been run to an outlet box here. They screwed up. They installed the box here. And they pulled the wire and they cut it short. They didn't leave themselves a nice long tab like I do. And then they were stuck. Now, on the subject of leaving nice long bits, 5 feet too long is always going to be cheaper than 5 inches too short. Remember that. Instead of fixing the problem properly, they just made this a junction box and hid it in the wall. Those are fire hazards. You can't tell when something's wrong in there. They'll just keep cooking. And given how crappy the terminations in there were, that was actually a possibility. My wife is going to freak out about this later. So, how they could have done this the smart way. They could have run this wire over to this light switch that they fed from this circuit anyway. And then this black wire, which was coming out of there, could have been run to the existing outlet. And you wouldn't need that hidden junction box. That was an easy fix that for some reason they didn't, whoever it was doing this did not catch. And so now that's what I'm doing. So we're demoing out this black wire entirely. It's too short. I don't need it. I don't want it. We're demoing out that hidden junction box entirely. It serves no purpose except, as an example of how to start a fire. Now that we've verified that this wire has been rendered safe again, I can take these wire nuts off. In fact, I could cut these back, I think, but you take a risk until you get it all the way where it needs to be. You don't really want to cut it, and you always want to leave yourself extra. Now, I drilled an extra hole in this stud by code. Your hole cannot be more than 1/3 of the width of your stud, and a 2x4 is actually 3.5 inches wide for standard 2x4s. So that means you have just over 1 1/8 inches you can make that hole, and it has to be centered because the load is supported by the upright outside portion of the stud. That's where the bulk of the load is. So I run this through here. I dress my wire. I'm going to run it up into my light switch box for the bathroom. And now the light switch box for the bathroom will be fed. I will splice this yellow wire, the new wire, in with the existing white wire. And that will provide me a constant feed to my outlet, completely bypassing this completely useless hidden junction box. Here's the thing, I mean, I just don't understand. This is a lack of knowledge and professionalism and experience here. And this is what cut rate electrical work gets you. You know, I said scab rate before and I meant it. That's just garbage. Now, some of this is old work, but some of it is clearly new. I'm looking at this staple. You know, these are all metal staples with no plastic jacket, but at least they haven't hammered them down to cut into the jacket. That's why new ones now tend to have that plastic jacket to protect your cable. That's what professionals use. They square off their wire. It always gives you a little bit extra if in an emergency, like, you know, some goofball put their box in the wrong position, you might be able to squeeze by taking out some of your square corners. Though ideally, you leave yourself an extra foot or so to play with, so you don't have to do that either. Like I said, that's all it would have took to fix this problem. Instead, they had to do extra work. They had to do an extra box. They had to cut extra wire. And they didn't even do that part correctly, because if they had, we wouldn't have needed the hidden junction box in the first place, which in turn creates a fire hazard, which is what will cause an insurance company to say, hey, we're not covering you because, you know, this work was not done to code. So there you go. So make sure you know the business you hire, the electrician you use. That's all I've got. Have a good day.